Hi, welcome back to our online study. So, how are you everyone? Have you eaten breakfast yet? Okay, so today video we are going to study or we are going to continue our writing tutor, right? So here is the book, Writing Tutor 1A. Good. So today we will before we start our lesson today, I will introduce you about what section that we are going to learn. Okay, so first we are going to learn about, first we are going to talk about the review, something that you learned from last week on page 21. And next we are going to learn about the part 3, which is about our drafting. And next we are going to learn about the part 4, which is about the rewriting and proofreading. And next we are going to do the exercise on page 27. And next, at the end of the video, I am going to sum up all of the whole lesson of the video that we learned. Okay, well, so let's start together. Section 1, which is about the review. Here, last week, did you remember what did we study? Of course, we studied on page 21, right? So on page 21, we studied about the sentence parts. Do you know sentence parts already, right? So of course, sentence parts, in one sentence we always have the verbs and we also have the subject. Okay, if we don't have the subject or if you don't have the verb, it means like that sentence is not complete. Okay, so if you want to make your sentence completed, you have to add subject and verb. So I will tell you I will do the summarize for you what you studied last week, which is about the sentence part. So in sentence we have the subject, as you can see here, subject, and we also have the verb. So when we have subject, it means like they show us what a subject does. Example, my friends help me. Does what? Yeah, help. It shows us about the action that the subject does. Actually, as you can see, friends is the subject, stand for the subject, right? Next, number 2, what a subject has is or feel. Usually, in the subject, we also mention about what it has is or feel. Example, the building is very tall. The building is very tall. So it shows us about that building. That building is very tall, right? Good, so we have finished our review section. So now I want to move your attention on our next part, which is about part 3. So in part 3, we learned about the drafting. But for this drafting part 3, I want you to do the exercise on page 22, 23, 24, and 25. So to do this exercise, so please take up your textbook, and turn to page 22, 23, 24, and 25. So you can do it, you can practice this exercise. If you have any questions, you can ask your homeroom teacher. And if you finish your exercise, you can let your homeroom teacher correct it for you. Okay, so next, what I would like to teach you today is about the part 4. Part 4 is we talk about the rewriting and proofreading. Revising and proofreading. Get it? So here, as you can see, at my school lunchtime, we learned about this story already, right? Also with the kind of many pictures of that story. So here again, at my school lunchtime is the title of the story, right? Next, number 1, orientation. So in orientation part, we talk about when or where the event began. Okay. Do you still remember where an event began? Do you? Well, so here we also have the the time or the place that the story began, as you can read in our sentence. First is, last Wednesday was a beautiful day, so I ate lunch on the school playground, right? So it happened at the school playground. And when? On Wednesday, last Wednesday. See? And another sentence is also having the same meaning to the first sentence. As you can read, it was a beautiful day last Wednesday, so I ate lunch on the school playground. So after we read about two sentences already, so it means like 2 sentences that which we read already. So it has the same meaning, right? But we have different style to write. If you want to write this style, of course you can write it. But if you want to write another style, you can write like this. It was a beautiful day last Wednesday. Okay, so in the orientation part, we have a different style of making a story or making the orientation part. As you can see, we have two sentences, right? So this is your choice. If you want to choose it, it's up to you, right? Number 2, events. So after the orientation, we go to the event of the story. So in event part, it means like they want to know what happened in our story. Okay, so as you can read here, then I saw James coming toward me. Right, then I saw James coming toward me. Or you can say, at that moment, we use the phrase, at that moment, right? At that moment, I noticed James walking to my bench. Well, so we have another style. We have different style to write in the event part, right? You can choose the first sentence or you can choose the second sentence. Good. So next is, let's start our events. They use it with the linking word first. I want to make sure for everyone, when you are writing about the event of a story, you have to use the linking words. What are the linking words, everyone? Such as the word first, then, second, next, after, finally. All of them are we call linking words. Okay, it's really, really important in the paragraph or any essay writing. We have to use the linking word. We need to use them because it's really necessary to show us about our events ranked in the order. Okay, so in the event part, you have to make it in the order. Like you can use the word first, second, or next, or then, or finally. Get it? Good job. Well, so next I would continue our events. So as you can see, first he came and sat on the bench on the other side of my lampshade. Or you can say, first he sat on the bench beside my lampshade. Okay, as you can see, we have different style of writing, right? Good. Another event, which is happened after the sentence say, he sat on the bench beside my lampshade. It goes to, after that, he took a bite of my sandwich. After that, he took a bite of my sandwich. Or you can say, after that, he ate a bite of my sandwich. The next event, which is starting with the linking word next. Next, he bit into my apple. Or you can say, next, he took a bite of my apple. Very good. So next, the last part of our paragraph of our story, you have to make the ending, right? So in the ending, it shows us about how the story ends, how you make it end, right? As you can see, finally, they use the linking word finally. Finally, if you want to stop or if you want to end your story, you have to use the linking word finally. Or another linking word, as you can use, like the word in conclusion, or yes, include, just some kind of like this, right? Finally, he ate my last cookie and went away. Or you can say, finally, he ate the last cookie from my lunch and left. Left here, it means that he ran far away from her, right? Good, so we have finished our part 4, which is about the revising and proofreading already, right? Good, so next I want you to move your attention to our exercise on page 27. Please open your book on page 27. So in this exercise, you are going to use you are going to use many sentences in our in our lesson part 4. So you have to use kind of this sentence, and you can put it into your first draft on page 27. Please turn to page 27 together. Good. So to do this exercise, you can pause the video, and after you finish it, or you have any question, you can ask your homeroom teacher, and your homeroom teacher will provide you the explanation of it, right? Good. Okay, now you finish your first draft already, right? So I know that you have done it already, but I want to make sure in your paragraph about the revise your first paragraph or first draft, right? So sure, so I know that you finished it, but I want to make sure it. So as you can see, title. In your title is about, what is it? Well, so do you want to change the title? If you want to change the title, it's up to you. If you think that you want to change the title, or you think that the title is not suitable for, or you think like the title is not familiar with you, you can change it if you want to make a change, right? Next, in your orientation part, did you inform or did you mention who, when, and where, and why, which happened in your story? Did you? If you did, it's good. In the events parts, are the events in order? Are the events in order, everyone? Look at your paragraph right now. Did you use the past tense? Did you use it every time you talk or describe about someone's experience? You have to use the past tense. Get it? Are the sentences complete? Are the sentences complete, everyone? If you want to make it complete, you have to use, as we talked already about, the complete sentence that we must have verb and subject, or subject in our sentence, right? Did you use linking word properly? Did you use like the word first, second, then, after, finally, next? Did you use them? If you did, very good. The ending part, did you mention how the experience ended? Did you? If you did, good job. Your paragraph is meaningful and excellent, right? So again, if you want to talk about someone's experience, you have to follow up with these steps. Get it, everyone? All right, so we have finished our lesson today. We have finished the whole lesson already, which is about the lesson 1 in our unit 1, right? Good. So now I want to move your attention to our summary part. I am going to summary the whole lesson that you learned. Get it? Good. So again, we talk about stories about a person experience. We are going to follow up with 4 steps. First is you have to name that title of that story, a brief name for the event. Next, you have to do the orientation part, which is you have to mention about when and where the event began. Next, you have to talk about your events, what happened in the story, and in that part, you have to use the linking words, like I mentioned already. Next, the last one is you have to make the ending of your paragraph, how the story ends, and give some thought about your paragraph, about the story that you have written. Get it, everyone? Good. So next is number 2, complete sentences. We have learned about the complete sentences already. You know, a complete sentence must have a subject or verb. If the subject or the verb is missing, the sentence is not complete. Let's look at the other examples on the whiteboard. He called John and gave John a book. Right, so which one is the subject in this sentence? He is stand for the subject of the first sentence. But look at the next sentence. And gave John a book. Do we have subject, everyone? We don't have subject, right? But we have only the verb, which is the verb gave. It also meaning, but it's just not complete at all. Okay? He called John and gave John a book. Again, the last sentence doesn't have the subject. It has only the verb. But we can understand it. But if you do not write the first sentence, you just say, and gave John a book. Doesn't make sense. Do you understand about this sentence? No, right? So that's why you have to make it into two sentences. Like first sentence, he called John. And next sentence, and gave John a book. It's meaningful. We understand about that sentence, right? Good. Next sentence, we met a boy. His name Kevin. So which one is the verb in these sentences, everyone? Look at the first sentence. Met is the verb. In the second sentence, his name Kevin. Do we have verb or not, everyone? We don't have verb, right? But we still understand what the subject is. I mean, what the sentence is, right? We met a boy. His name Kevin. Yeah. If you do not write the first sentence, you may not understand about how the story talk about, right? So that's why we have to make it two sentences. If you want to use another sentence without subject or verb, right? Next, we talked about it after lunchtime. After lunchtime. So I want you to find out which one is the subject and which one is the verb in this sentence. In the first sentence. The first sentence, we is the subject. Talked is the verb, right? We talked about it. Get it? But in our next sentence, after lunchtime, we don't have subject or we don't have verb at all, right? As you can see, after lunchtime. So if we do not write the first sentence, can you understand about the sentence? No, we don't understand about the story of that sentence, right? Or the meaning of that sentence. But that's why we need to write it into two sentences if you want to use without any verb or subject in our next sentence. Okay? Like we talk about it after lunchtime. Get it, everyone? Well, so we have done so far about our lesson today. Like we talk about the like the part 3, which is the exercise practice that you guys had practiced already, and the part 4, which is about the revising and proofreading, right? So we have done a lot in our video lesson today, right? So well, we come to an end of our video lesson today. In our next video, we are going to start our new lesson. So thank you very much. See you in the next video with the new lesson. Goodbye.